In this video, I'm going to go over all the materials related to your first formal essay, the compare-contrast essay. I'm going to talk fast because I want to keep it short. The essay is due July 18th. Let's go over the instruction sheet. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. It's up to you to read this entire sheet. It'll answer all of your questions, but there's some things that no matter how I write it, it just doesn't come across, so I got to say it out loud. So, if there's anything in here that's unclear after you read the whole sheet, come up here, click on the envelope, send me an email, and I'll do my best to clarify. But here are the key things that I want you to know. It's a 5-paragraph essay, not 4, not 6, not 1. It's 5 paragraphs, and you will either do a comparison or a contrast, not both. More specifically, you could go the comparison route. This is where you pick two seemingly unlike things and analyze 3 specific ways that they are alike. Let me give you an example. You'll find an essay in this course in one of the other weekly modules where a student wrote a comparison. She took 2 people you would never confuse, George Washington and Taylor Swift. I don't care how much you hate Taylor Swift, there's no way you would ever confuse her with George Washington. And she wrote an analysis of 3 specific ways that these 2 people are surprisingly alike. You'll have to read the paper to find out how. That's called a comparison. Now, if comparison doesn't work for you, then go the contrast route. In this way, in this path, you would pick 2 seemingly like things, 2 things people always confuse, and analyze 3 surprising ways that they're actually different. That's a contrast. And you'll find an example essay in this course to help you with that. A student wrote a paper on skate parks. People can't tell them apart. They're just a big piece of concrete with noisy kids all over them. Turns out, skateboard parks of the 1970s are nothing like skateboard parks of the 2010s, and this guy highlighted 3 specific ways that they are very different from each other. You can find those essays elsewhere in the class to help guide you so you can build your analysis. Next, doesn't matter how I write it, people never get this, so I want to put it out there. You are allowed to write about whatever you want as long as you can write an interesting paper. So I mean it when I say you can write about any 2 universal subjects you want, as long as you can draw interesting conclusions. So, the one topic that is off limits, because nobody wants to write about this, is online versus in-person school. You write about that because you didn't know what else to write about. You went to Google or ChatGPT, and that's the first hit. So I'm taking that one off the table. You don't want to write it, and I don't want to read it. Now, if you are an education major and you're obsessed with pedagogy, send me an email. I'll make an exception for you, but chances are that's not you, because it's just not anyone. So anything else goes. And to make that abundantly clear, I'm going to just put my cards on the table and tell you. Sex, go ahead. Drugs, yes, go ahead. I get papers on those topics all the time. They mostly come from my in-person students because they actually trust me and believe me. Online, it's a little harder. I get it. But I'm telling you, I've got a paper on having sex with a fat person versus a skinny person. I was happy to help the student write it. I'm telling you, if you write about what you are into, then you will write a great paper. On the flip side of that, a topic I got one time, the difference between steel versus PVC gas lines. I gotta tell you, there's nothing interesting or exciting in that topic, at least not to me, but the student was into that, and I was happy to help that student write that paper, and here I am years later still talking about it. So whatever you're into, there is a way to turn it into a paper topic. Tell me what you're into. I will help you find a topic that you want to write about. Next, something else that's worth noting. No matter how I write this, it just never comes across, so I have to say it out loud. It is a 5-paragraph essay. Don't give me 1, 4, 3, 6 paragraphs. Give me 5 exactly. And the reason I go with 5 here is because each paragraph has a job to do. You'll have an intro, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion for a total of 5. And that's the minimum to make a well-rounded, robust college-level analysis. Something else that throws people off. Don't go over 750 words. A lot of people have to double check this. They think, no fewer than 750 words. No, don't go over 750 words. How many times have you set out to write a paper, you get to around 500, 600, 700 words, and you still have 1,000 words to go, and then you end up ruining the paper by writing a bunch of filler? Don't do that. Longer is not better. Better is better. Focus, organization, and being specific. That is how you get a good grade. If you give me 5 paragraphs and they are focused, organized, and specific, you will do fine. And you'll do fine with a lot less work than if you write 1,500 boring, inflated, bombastic words. Write short, write clear, be specific, be organized. Now you go through, read these instructions on your own. If you have any questions, you let me know. There's something else I want to show you that before I wrap this up. A lot of teachers don't use rubrics, and so students don't know what they are. I've given you a rubric here, and I want to show you what it is and what it does. I always tell students, I don't grade your paper. The rubric does. I'm here to help you write the best paper possible so you can get the best score on the rubric. You might have heard me mention intro, 3 body paragraphs, and conclusion. Take a look at the rubric. They're on here. Intro paragraph, that thing is worth 10 points. You can get a top-notch score, a decent score, and a not-so-decent score according to the rubric. Thesis statement, most important sentence in the paper. You'll find videos to help with this elsewhere in the course. That one sentence is worth 20 points. Body. You have 3 body paragraphs, and the rubric tells you how to get 30 out of 30 points, how to get a decent score on your body, and how to get a not so decent score. Conclusion, that's the final paragraph. It tells you how to get a great score, an okay score, and a not so good score. It even tells you how many proofreading errors you're allowed to have before your score goes down the drain. MLA formatting, it's worth 5 points. There's a video to help you with this. And one last note, don't write about in-person versus online school. If you do, I'll know you didn't bother watching or reading any of my course materials. You don't care that much about your grade or the course, you will get a 0. Don't give me 4. Don't give me 6. Don't give me 1 giant paragraph. Give me 5 paragraphs exactly. If you can't do that, I'll know you didn't bother watching my video. You didn't read my instructions. You didn't read my rubric, and your score will reflect that. Keep it under 750 words. If you get carried away with your topic and you need more words, that's not the end of the world. But if I end up getting a 5 or 7 page long paper, I'll know. You just let ChatGPT write the thing, or you gave me a paper that you wrote for another class in a previous semester and didn't even bother checking it against the rubric, and your grade will reflect that and you will get a 0. So, if you have any questions about anything that I've covered in this video or anything you see in these materials, please send me an email so that I can clarify.